April 28, 2004. Woodbridge Township, New Jersey. A spring afternoon filled with promise. A new home, fresh beginnings, a family moving forward. Until 3 gunshots shattered everything. Melanie McGuire, 31, a respected fertility nurse and mother of 2. What emerged from the waters of Chesapeake Bay would expose a mind capable of unthinkable calculation. How does love become murder? Welcome to Shattered Crime, where we uncover the darkest truths hidden behind ordinary faces. Today, we explore New Jersey's most notorious female criminals, from suburban nurses to teenage daughters, from affluent college freshmen to desperate mothers. These are the true stories of women who crossed the ultimate line. From calculated dismemberment to crimes of passion, each case reveals how far someone will go when desperation, rage, or delusion takes control. First case, Melanie Lyn McGuire, 31 years old, Woodbridge Township, Middlesex County, New Jersey. 2004. The spring of 2004 brought hope to the McGuire household. Melanie, a top-of-her-class nursing graduate from Rutgers University, worked at a prestigious fertility clinic. Her husband, Bill, a Navy veteran turned computer programmer, had just closed on their dream home. 2 young sons, a future taking shape. But beneath the surface, darkness was stirring. Melanie McGuire wasn't just a devoted nurse and mother. Born October 8, 1972, raised in Ridgewood and Middletown Township, she'd built a life that looked perfect from the outside. She was intelligent, educated, trusted. But records would later reveal an extramarital affair with Dr. Bradley Miller, a co-worker. And Bill, moody, unpredictable, a heavy gambler according to Melanie, had become an obstacle to the new life she craved. April 28, 2004. The day they closed on their new house. That night, prosecutors claim, Melanie drugged her husband. Then she shot him 3 times with a .38 caliber handgun she'd purchased just 2 days earlier. But death wasn't enough. She dismembered his body, packed the remains into 3 Kenneth Cole suitcases, and disposed of them in Chesapeake Bay, Virginia. May 5th, fishermen discovered legs. May 11th, a head and torso surfaced. May 16th, arms were found floating in the water, each discovery more horrifying than the last. Facial reconstruction identified the victim as William McGuire, 39, husband and father of 2. The bullet wounds matched a .38 caliber weapon, the same type Melanie had recently purchased. The investigation moved fast. Bill's Nissan Maxima was found abandoned in Atlantic City. Blurry surveillance footage showed someone moving it, but the driver couldn't be identified. Melanie claimed she'd moved the car as a prank, a bizarre explanation that raised more questions than answers. Then came the digital evidence. Easy Pass toll records placed Melanie in Delaware 2 days after Bill's death. She'd tried to delete the toll records. She failed. Forensics became the final nail. The plastic bags containing Bill's remains traced back to the same manufacturing batch. The suitcases matched the set Melanie and Bill owned. Green fibers found on a bullet linked to their living room couch, possibly used as a makeshift silencer. A medical towel discovered near the body matched those from Melanie's clinic. The affair with Dr. Miller provided motive. Melanie wanted freedom. She wanted a new life. Bill stood in the way. June 2nd, 2005. Melanie McGuire was arrested and charged with first-degree murder. Her trial began March 5th, 2007, in New Jersey Superior Court. Prosecutors presented a damning case: forensic evidence, digital footprints, motive. The defense argued there was no blood found in the home, no crime scene. They suggested Bill's gambling debts might have led to his death. The jury didn't buy it. April 23, 2007. guilty of first-degree murder, guilty of perjury, desecration of human remains, and illegal weapon possession. Melanie sat motionless as the verdict was read. No tears, no emotion. July 19th, 2007. Sentencing day. The judge delivered life imprisonment with no possibility of parole until age 101. Melanie McGuire would spend the next 63 years, likely the rest of her natural life, behind bars. She was transferred to Edna Mahan Correctional Facility for Women in Clinton, New Jersey, where she remains today. Appeals in 2011 and 2014 were denied. The evidence was overwhelming. The media dubbed it the suitcase murder. Bill's family was left to raise two boys who would grow up without a father, knowing their mother had taken him from them. Melanie continues to maintain her innocence. The courts, the evidence, and the jury say otherwise. Justice was served in Middlesex County, but in Delaware, another young couple's nightmare was just beginning. Second case, Amy Grossberg, 18 years old. Wyckoff, Bergen County, New Jersey, 1996. November 12th, 1996. Newark, Delaware. A comfort inn that should have been just another roadside motel became the scene of one of the most heartbreaking crimes of the decade. The fall air was crisp. College freshmen across the country were settling into dorm life, attending classes, dreaming of futures. But for Amy Grossberg and Brian Peterson, both 18, both from affluent Wyckoff, New Jersey, this night would destroy everything. Amy Grossberg came from privilege, Ramapo High School graduate, enrolled at the University of Delaware just months earlier. She'd hidden her pregnancy for 9 months. Loose clothes, avoided family, maintained the illusion of normalcy. Brian Peterson, her longtime boyfriend, was a freshman at Gettysburg College in Pennsylvania. When Amy went into labor that November night, Brian drove 3 hours to be with her. What happened next would haunt them forever. Brian checked them into a comfort inn room. Amy delivered their baby without medical assistance. A boy, born alive. But instead of seeking help, the young couple made a choice that would define their lives. They later claimed they believed the baby was stillborn. They wrapped him in a trash bag and disposed of him in the motel dumpster. But the baby wasn't stillborn. Autopsy results would prove the infant was born alive and died from multiple skull fractures and shaken baby syndrome. A violent death, a preventable tragedy. The next morning, a cleaning woman discovered bloody sheets and notified police. Hours later, Amy collapsed at the University of Delaware with seizures caused by retained placenta. Doctors realized she'd recently given birth. Hospital staff contacted authorities. The two incidents connected instantly. Police deployed K-9 units. They found the infant's body in the dumpster behind the Comfort Inn. The autopsy shattered Amy and Brian's story. The baby hadn't been stillborn. He'd suffered severe head trauma. He'd been shaken. He'd been alive when they disposed of him. December 1996. Both were indicted for first-degree murder. Prosecutors initially sought the death penalty. Amy and Brian, who'd once supported each other, now turned against one another. Brian claimed Amy told him to get rid of it. Amy said Brian acted alone. The case became a national sensation. Young, privileged, educated teens accused of infanticide. March 1998. Brian Peterson accepted a plea deal. He pled guilty to manslaughter and agreed to testify against Amy. His testimony applied pressure. April 22, 1998. Amy Grossberg accepted her own plea bargain, admitting to unintentionally causing the infant's death. Murder charges were dropped in exchange for their admissions. Both avoided a trial where graphic autopsy photos would have been shown to a jury. Brian received 2 years. Amy received 2.5 years. Bryan served 20 months and was released in January 2000. Amy served 22 months and walked free in May 2000. The aftermath was quiet. Bryan relocated to Jupiter, Florida, eventually working in his family's video company and marrying. Amy returned to New Jersey, became an artist, and in 2004 founded an invitation company called Just Because Invitations. They built new lives, but the unnamed infant they discarded in a trash bag never got that chance. The case inspired episodes of Law and Order, The Practice, and even appeared in literature and film. It remains one of the most notorious neo-Nadicide cases in American history. A reminder that privilege doesn't prevent tragedy, and fear doesn't excuse murder. 2 young lives spared lengthy prison terms, but in Atlantic City, an act of random violence would claim 2 innocent tourists. Third case, Antoinette Pelzer, 44 years old. Atlantic City, Atlantic County, New Jersey. 2012, May 21st, 2012. A bright spring morning in Atlantic City. Tourists strolled along Pacific Avenue near Bally's Casino, drawn by the promise of ocean air and boardwalk entertainment. Among them were Po Lin Wan, 80, and her daughter Alice May C. Lung, 47, Canadian tourists from Scarborough, Ontario, originally from Hong Kong. They were on vacation, they were vulnerable, and they were about to encounter a woman whose mind had fractured beyond repair. Antoinette Pelzer was born in Philadelphia in 1968. At age 24, she was diagnosed with paranoid schizophrenia. Family members would later testify that when medicated, she was non-violent. But unmedicated, she experienced terrifying hallucinations and erratic behavior. In the months before May 21st, Pelzer had been homeless, sleeping in train stations, begging for change, scavenging food between Philadelphia, Ohio, and Atlantic City. Mental illness had consumed her, and on that spring morning she carried a 13-inch butcher knife, approximately 10 a.m. Surveillance cameras captured the horror. Pelzer suddenly rushed toward Po Lin Wan and Alice May C. Lung on Pacific Avenue. She attempted to grab one woman's purse. When they resisted, Pelzer unleashed the knife. She began stabbing Alice May C. Lung repeatedly. Po Lin Wan, desperate to save her daughter, threw herself into the attack. Pelzer turned the blade on her. The assault lasted 13 seconds. Both women collapsed on the sidewalk in broad daylight, bleeding from multiple stab wounds. Tourists screamed. Chaos erupted. But help was already there. Atlantic City police officer Jacob Abruscato happened upon the scene within moments. He intervened immediately, disarmed Pelzer, and placed her under arrest. Both victims were rushed a short distance to Atlanticare Regional Medical Center. Neither survived. Alice May C. Leung suffered fatal stab wounds to the upper body, including a punctured heart. Po Lin Wan died from stab wounds to the lower body, hands, and shoulder. A mother and daughter murdered for a purse. Pelzer was charged with 2 counts of first-degree murder, felony murder, robbery, and unlawful weapons possession. Bail was set at $1.5 million. Given her documented history of paranoid schizophrenia, many expected an insanity defense. Pelzer underwent multiple psychological evaluations, but 2 independent experts reached the same conclusion. She knew right from wrong at the time of the attack. She understood what she was doing. The insanity defense was rejected. Pelzer stood trial fully aware of the lives she'd taken. The evidence was overwhelming. Surveillance footage, the weapon, Officer Abruscato's testimony, the victim's injuries documented in autopsy reports. Antoinette Pelzer was convicted on all counts. The judge sentenced her to life imprisonment without the possibility of parole. She was transferred to Edna Mahan Correctional Facility for Women in Clinton, New Jersey, where she remains incarcerated. Pauline Wan and Alice May C. Leung came to Atlantic City for vacation. They left in body bags. Their family in Canada was left to mourn 2 women stolen by a stranger's madness. Pelzer's family mourned too. A daughter, sister, aunt lost to mental illness and homelessness. The system failed them all, a random act of violence in broad daylight. But in Newark, jealousy and rage would lead to an even more brutal attack. 4th case, Nadiyah Venable, 20 years old, Newark, Essex County, New Jersey, 2010. May 15, 2010, Mount Prospect Avenue in Newark, a neighborhood where families raised children, where mothers worked hard to provide safe homes. Sharon Moens, 29, was one of those mothers, 3 children, ages 10, 6, and 3. She'd recently reunited with Kenny Jones, the father of her children. It should have been a fresh start. Instead, it painted a target on her back. Nadiyah Venable was born in 1990. By age 20, she'd been involved in a romantic relationship with Kenny Jones. But when Jones decided to end things with Venable and return to Sharon Moens, his wife, the mother of his children, Venable's love turned to rage. She was 6 months pregnant, she was abandoned, and she wanted revenge. Venable didn't act alone. She recruited her 15-year-old cousin, Nadiyah Venable. Together, they armed themselves with bleach stored in small containers and headed to Sharon Moens' apartment. The plan was calculated. The intent was clear. This was going to be brutal. Around noon, Venable and her cousin arrived at Moens' front door. When Sharon answered, bleach was thrown directly into her eyes, temporarily blinding her. Moens screamed. The attack moved inside the apartment, and that's when the knife came out. Sharon Moens was stabbed approximately 30 times. In her own home, in front of her 3 children, the 10-year-old daughter, the 6-year-old son, the 3-year-old boy. They witnessed their mother being slaughtered. The 2 younger boys desperately tried to wipe the blood from their mother's body, not understanding she was already gone. The 10-year-old ran for help and called 911. Police arrived around 12:30 p.m. They found Sharon Moens face down in a pool of blood, multiple stab wounds covering her body. She was rushed to University Hospital in Newark. She died from her injuries. A mother of 3, murdered by jealousy. The investigation moved quickly. Testimony from Moens' children and neighbors provided crucial leads. The next day, Nadiyah Venable gave a statement to police. She admitted that she and her cousin went to the apartment intending to rough up the victim. Rough up, 30 stab wounds, bleach in the eyes, in front of children. Venable was arrested after reporting her vehicle stolen, a vehicle authorities had already been searching for in connection with the murder. She was charged with first-degree murder, aggravated assault, conspiracy, and weapons offenses. Her 15-year-old cousin was charged as a juvenile. At trial, the evidence was overwhelming. Witness testimony from 3 traumatized children, Venable's own admission, forensic evidence linking her to the scene. The jury convicted Nadiyah Venable of murder. The judge sentenced her to life imprisonment with 30 years before parole eligibility. She was sent to Edna Mahan Correctional Facility for Women. Sharon Moens' children lost their mother in the most horrific way imaginable. They'll carry those images for the rest of their lives. Kenny Jones lost the mother of his children because of his choices. And Nadiyah Venable, pregnant, enraged, desperate, threw away her life over a man. 3 children left motherless, 1 woman behind bars, all because jealousy became murder, rage and jealousy destroyed one family. But sometimes the most haunting cases are the ones that remain unsolved. 5th case, Michelle Lodzinski, mother, Timothy Wiltsey, 5 years old, Sayreville, Middlesex County, New Jersey, 1991. May 25th, 1991. Memorial Day weekend. Kennedy Park in Sayreville buzzed with carnival rides, cotton candy, and children's laughter. Timothy William Wiltse, Timmy, was 5 years old. Born August 6, 1985, he lived with his single mother, Michelle Lodzinski, in South Amboy. Despite financial struggles, friends and family described Michelle as devoted. Timmy was looking forward to summer vacation and a planned trip to Florida and Disney World. He never made it. According to Michelle, she briefly left Timmy in a ride line to buy a soda. When she returned, he was gone. The carnival was shut down. Police, firefighters, volunteers, and K9 units searched for hours. No trace of the boy was found. No physical evidence ever placed Timmy definitively at the carnival. The investigation took a strange turn almost immediately. Michelle's story kept changing. First, Timmy vanished at the carnival. Then she claimed 2 men with a knife abducted him. Later, she added a woman named Ellen and multiple accomplices. Witnesses were inconsistent. Some claimed they saw a boy matching Timmy's description. Others did not. Police found no evidence in Michelle's car or home. But Homedale Park, where she claimed to have spent the afternoon with Timmy, was partially closed that day. Suspicion grew. April 23, 1992. Nearly a year later, skeletal remains were discovered in marshland across the Raritan River in Edison, near a business park where Michelle Lodzinski had once worked, a detail she initially failed to disclose. Dental records confirmed the remains were Timmy's. 2 Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle sneakers, clothing fragments, a pillowcase, and a blue and white blanket were found with the body. Due to advanced decomposition, the medical examiner couldn't determine cause or time of death, but the ruling was clear: homicide. Timmy Wiltse didn't die by accident. Someone killed him. Years passed. In 1994, Michelle staged a fake kidnapping involving forged FBI business cards and was convicted of a federal hoax. In 1997, she pled guilty to stealing a laptop from a former employer. She moved to Florida, remarried, and had more children. Timmy's case went cold. August 6, 2014. Timmy's would-be 29th birthday. Michelle Lodzinski was arrested in Florida and charged with first-degree murder. The case against her was entirely circumstantial. Inconsistencies, demeanor, the blanket allegedly linked to her home. No forensic evidence, no DNA, no proven crime scene or cause of death. The trial began in 2016 in Middlesex County Superior Court. Prosecutors argued Michelle's changing stories, the discovery site near her former workplace, and babysitter's identification of the blanket proved guilt. The defense countered with reasonable doubt. No physical evidence, no cause of death, no direct link. The jury deliberated, and they convicted her. Michelle Lodzinski was sentenced in 2017 to 30 years without parole at Edna Mahan Correctional Facility. It seemed final. Justice for Timmy. But in 2019, an appeal was filed. In 2021, the New Jersey Supreme Court reheard the case. December 28, 2021, the court ruled the evidence was legally insufficient for any reasonable jury to convict. The conviction was vacated. A judgment of acquittal was entered. Michelle Lodzinski was released. And because of double jeopardy, she can never be retried. Today, Michelle Lodzinski is free, legally acquitted. Timothy Wiltse's death remains officially ruled a homicide, but his killer is unknown. The case is unresolved. A 5-year-old boy is still dead, and no one has been held accountable. Was justice denied, or was an innocent woman wrongly convicted? The courts say the evidence wasn't there. Timmy's family says otherwise. The truth died in those marshlands in 1992. A case overturned, a mother freed. But our final case involves a teenager who confessed and never walked free. Sixth case. Brenda Wiley, 15 years old. Delaware Township, Hunterdon County, New Jersey, 1990. November 8, 1990. A quiet, rural area of Delaware Township. The kind of place where neighbors knew each other, where families felt safe. The Wiley household seemed typical. Parents, 2 children, the struggles of raising teenagers. But beneath the surface, resentment festered. And on this November day, a 15-year-old girl would commit an act so calculated, so brutal, it would shock the entire state. Brenda Wiley was described as a typical teenager outwardly, but inside, emotional instability and rage had been building. She'd recently been grounded due to a relationship with an older boyfriend. Her parents had imposed strict rules. She felt controlled, isolated, trapped. According to Brenda, her mother and brother had become unbearable. And her father, well, she wanted him dead too. He just wasn't home. Her father was at work. Brenda struck. First, she attacked her 14-year-old brother, Kevin. She hit him over the head with a glass soda bottle. As he collapsed, she stabbed him in the neck with a kitchen knife. Kevin Wiley died. Brenda placed his body in a sleeping bag and covered his head with a trash bag. Shortly afterward, her mother, Bonnie, returned home. Brenda ambushed her with an iron bar. Then she repeatedly stabbed her with a knife. Bonnie Wiley died at the scene. After the killings, Brenda cleaned up the blood, showered, and tried to behave normally. As if nothing had happened, authorities responded. Inconsistencies in Brenda's behavior raised immediate red flags. During taped police interviews, Brenda confessed in chilling detail. She admitted killing her mother because she wouldn't let me do anything anymore. She killed her brother because he made fun of me again, as usual. She also admitted she wanted to kill her father, but he wasn't home. So he survived. Despite being only 15 years old, Brenda Wiley was waived out of family court and tried as an adult in Superior Court, Hunterdon County. She was charged with 2 counts of purposeful and knowing murder. The evidence was overwhelming. Her confession was clear. There was no dispute about who killed Bonnie and Kevin Wiley. In 1992, Brenda was convicted on both counts. The court sentenced her to concurrent life sentences, each carrying a 30-year period of parole ineligibility. Her father, the sole surviving immediate family member, stood by her throughout the trial. A man who lost his wife and son, supporting the daughter who murdered them. Brenda Wiley was sent to Edna Mahan Correctional Facility for Women in Clinton, New Jersey. Over the next 2 decades, she filed multiple appeals and post-conviction relief petitions, arguing inadequate legal representation, improper waiver to adult court, violations of her rights, and constitutional challenges to her sentence. Every single appeal was denied. The trial was ruled fair, the evidence overwhelming. She became eligible for parole in 2022. As of the latest records, she has not been released. Brenda Wiley remains behind bars, more than 30 years after she murdered her mother and brother over teenage resentment and parental rules. Psychologists cite deep-rooted emotional conflict, perceived loss of autonomy, and unresolved trauma as contributing factors in juvenile parricide cases. But the motive, in the end, remains debated. Was it mental illness? Was it adolescent rage taken to an extreme? Or was it simply evil? Bonnie Wiley, 40, and Kevin Wiley, 14, were buried together. Their family destroyed by a teenager who couldn't handle being grounded. And Brenda Wiley sits in a cell, a life sentence stretching decades into the future. A reminder that age doesn't always predict the capacity for violence. 6 women, 6 stories, 6 life sentences, some overturned, most not, all connected by one truth. From Woodbridge to Atlantic City, from affluent suburbs to rural townships, these 6 cases reveal a disturbing truth. Violence knows no gender, no age, no background. A fertility nurse, college freshman, a homeless woman, a jealous girlfriend, a mother, a teenager, each crossed the line from ordinary citizen to convicted killer. Some showed remorse, others showed nothing at all. What drives a human being to take another's life? Is it rage, desperation, mental illness, jealousy? Or is it something darker? A coldness that exists in people we pass on the street every day? These women lived among us. They smiled, worked, raised children, and they destroyed lives. For the families left behind, Bill McGuire's sons, the unnamed infant, Polin Wan, and Alice May C. Lung's relatives, Sharon Moen's children, Timmy Wiltsey's loved ones, the Wiley family, the pain never fades. Justice may be served. Convictions may be handed down. But the victims are still gone. The trauma remains. And the question lingers. Could it have been prevented? Which case stayed with you most? Share your thoughts in the comments below. And if you found this video informative and compelling, leave a like to support the channel. Subscribe to Shattered Crime and hit the notification bell for more true crime investigations into the darkest corners of the American justice system. Next time, we're exploring cases of wrongful conviction, innocent people who spent decades behind bars for crimes they didn't commit. Until then, stay informed, stay aware, and remember, the truth is always darker than fiction. This is Shattered Crime.